everybody, so we're back talking some more MCU content on the channel with the first episode of Moon Knight dropping on Disney+. It's been a little bit of time since we had any new MCU-related content. Hawkeye and Spider-Man No Way Home was back in December. It feels like that wasn't that long ago, but it really was, as we're entering April very soon. But I'm very excited to get back into some more new MCU content, especially with a character like Moon Knight, since I've always found him to be very interesting from the comic book runs I have read of his over the years. And there's just limitless potential here because of the fact the series, it doesn't really feel all that connected to the MCU. They said that earlier on before the show even started, but it definitely feels that way just in episode 1. I could certainly see that bothering some people that it doesn't really feel as connected to the MCU, but personally for me, I think it's pretty refreshing not having to think about how all the different characters connect to other things we've seen in the MCU over the past decade or so. It's kind of nice in that way that you don't have to think as hard, you just have to focus on Moon Knight as a character and everyone in this series. Right from the very beginning in the first episode, you can just feel that it's a very different kind of show than the other things we've seen in the MCU. It's extremely quirky and just strange in a different kind of way, and I was kind of nervous how we were going to handle the DID aspect with Moon Knight as a character, because that is a vital part of his character, that he has dissociative identity disorder. Speaking as someone who doesn't have the disorder, I think the show did their best when it comes to the handling of the disorder, switching back and forth between Stephen Grant and Mark Spector. We do spend a large stretch of the episode following Stephen Grant, and I thought that was one of the more intriguing aspects of the episode, watching him. He's working at a museum gift shop, and how he's trying to deal with the blackouts he's been experiencing, chaining himself to the bed, you know, anything it takes to make sure that he doesn't leave his room. The British accent, not exactly my favorite aspect about the character. I know Oscar Isaac had to try and do certain things to try and differentiate between Stephen Grant and Mark Spector, but it's a little bit weird and out of place just coming out of Oscar Isaac. Of course, it's a very different experience when we do inevitably meet Mark Spector, because of the fact that he knows everything that's going on. He knows about Moon Knight, he knows about Khonshu, and all the powers that he gets from the Moon God. Speaking of Khonshu, the little bit that we do get of him in the episode, the voiceover, pretty funny. I actually thought some of his lines were some of the funniest in the episode. All around, Mark Spector just feels a bit more like Oscar Isaac when we see Steven and him interact with one another in the episode. And I think it's very interesting how we do see them communicate, and I think it's very well done and kind of showcases just how good of an actor Oscar Isaac is, because he does have to do a lot of heavy lifting here, having conversations between two of himself. And not just that, but both of them feel very distinctly different from one another, and I just think it's very cool how we have the conversations, a lot of reflections and mirrors, all of that kind of stuff. I think that was very well done and well edited together. Many that follow the channel know that I'm a massive fan of the horror genre, and this show in particular was one that I was very excited for because it seemed like we were going to embrace that horror element, which is something that's been missing in a lot of Marvel projects over the years, in particular in the MCU. They do embrace it, at least in this episode. I actually like the dark elements. I actually had kind of a scary tinge to it when Steven is getting chased by the monster at the end of the episode. It was pretty well done. It was a very tense sequence. We are only just in episode 1, so it's kind of hard to judge all the action as a whole, but just the action in this episode, if it's an indicator for what's to come with the other episodes, I thought it was pretty awesome. Not that there was a ton of action to begin with, especially in the Moon Knight costume. That's saved for the very end of the episode leading into the next one. However, I still found it extremely riveting to watch. You do get those action scenes. Definitely unexpected to have a car chase sequence set to Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. It's a perfect song to throw in there with him continuously waking up and crazier things keep happening in the action set piece, but now it's gonna be stuck in my head all day. How can I not get excited when we see him transform into Moon Knight? I think the suit is one of the best aspects of the show. It looks awesome. It looks ripped right out of the comic book page. It's one of the best elements about Phase 4. It's just how all the different costumes are usually pretty comic book accurate. On the whole, for the episode, I kind of felt bad for Steven because he's kind of taken along for the journey once Mark takes over. As we start discovering more things and he meets Layla, who he doesn't know at all, but he has this past history of her with Mark. And he's just surrounded by all this big action, like the big chase sequence. It is creative, though, how the action shifts between the personalities. I thought that was a very unique way to showcase the different personalities among the different action scenes. There is a bit of mystery and intrigue that swirls around our villain for this series, played by Ethan Hawke. Very interesting character. I just think Ethan Hawke is a great actor. It's exciting that he's a villain in an MCU show. It's quite intimidating as this cult leader, just in how calm he is in the moments we do see him with talking to Oscar Isaac. They kind of balance each other out quite well. That dynamic is just kind of one of those things I'm looking forward to. I think it's going to be very exciting to see how that plays out over the course of this 6-episode season. But yeah, all around, I thought this was a very solid intro into Moon Knight. I think Mohamed Diab as a director and Jeremy Slater have done a great job crafting this Moon Knight character into the MCU. It's very refreshing. Like I said, it's just weird, out there, kind of strange, and I'm all for it. I kind of expected that going in because of how I know Moon Knight Knight as a character from the comic books, and also Jeremy Slater has done Umbrella Academy, which also is a very strange show in its own right, but I think that is a great show after all. But yeah, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What'd you think of this first episode of Moon Knight when you get a chance to check out the episode? It's on Disney+. Did you like the episode, not like the episode? Share any thoughts or theories you may have on where we're going to go with the next couple episodes, because they go quickly. There's 6 episodes, we're already 1 in. These shows with the MCU Marvel, like, they just go so quickly. I don't know why we only do 6 episodes. Some of these, I think they deserve to get more episodes. But either way, thank you guys so much for checking out the review. I would appreciate that. Make sure to like on the video. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you get new reactions, unboxings, and more. But next time, I'll see you guys later.